What is going on out there, all you magnificent sons of guns? Welcome to the first show of the brand new year, and man, we got a treat for you tonight. But you know we got to kick this thing off proper, right? It feels like it's been a whole year since I've done a show. But still, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, TCT BNL, that's this incredible good-looking dude right here, is proud to bring to you our soon-to-be world-famous, wait for it, No Lag Zone. And tonight, y'all ain't ready for this one. You're really, really not ready for this one. I promise you we're kicking this year off something big. We've got a story about failure. We have a story about redemption. We have a story about self-recovery. Dude, little hint, he's one of the 3 original Leatherheads. Did I give too much away? I don't care, but here he comes, the one, the only, Andrew Carlisle.
Leather!
See, I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming, my brother. But before we get into too much fun, we're going to get the roll call out of the way. We're going to focus on you. All right, first up, Bill Rivers. How's it going? The creator of the Rivers Revenge. More is coming for that soon, my brother. Steven, what's up, Mel Guy?
Oh, yeah.
Dan C, what's going on, Teach? Nice to see you in here, my brother. Hopefully you're having a great night with the family. Corey, you're 6. Glad to see you behind enemy lines, bro. Still hanging in there. This is great. To one of my oldest people on my channel, Skull, brother. Happy New Year, and glad to see you're still up. TV, what's going on, man? Dagan, that's right. Leather.
What's up, Dagan?
Big Stu, what's going on, man? All right, now, Andrew.
Hello.
I am very familiar with who you are. You've been an inspiration to me personally ever since I've known you. But tell these people out here a little bit about yourself before we get in there and get that story coming out.
Hi, what's up, everybody? My name is Andrew Carlisle. I'm a native. I live north of Dallas, Texas. Served in the U.S. Army as an 11 Bravo infantryman for 3.5 years. Just graduated with my bachelor's in history, and I'm about to next week pursue my master's of divinity with a specialization in biblical studies. Nice. So I'll be pursuing a full-time ministry and all that fun stuff. But yeah, excited to be here. I've been a subscriber for Chris for 3-ish years, going 4 years now.
Something like that, yeah.
So yeah, man, excited to be here. And this is Sadie right here.
Yeah, he's got some cool dogs back there. And yeah, he reads a lot. See all those books? He likes to read. Got a pretty good collection, you know?
Yep.
But now, Andrew, I told you I was going to do this in the green room. And I'm going to start this show off this way. It's a little bit different. Like I said in the opening, you have been an inspiration to me. Simply because of what you've gone through and how you've come back. And it's one of those that it hasn't changed you since the first day I started talking to you. You've been the same awesome dude, even when you were at a very, very low point. And I said that very pivotal line to you about don't give me that BS. If you're hurting, let me know. You also did one thing that really hit home to me, and I want to thank you publicly for it. When you got a hold of me on Instagram one day, and I really wasn't thinking about your past, and I was drunk, and you called me out on it in one of your videos, it made me realize about my actions and everything else and how to take things a lot differently with people and the things they're going through. So I want to publicly thank you for that. Thank you for that lesson. It was sorely needed.
Yeah, I know which video you're talking about. That was a fun day.
Yeah. But now, bro, let's get to the big rip-roaring one. What made you go 11 Boo?
So looking I come from a military family. My dad was in the Army. His dad was in the Air Force. My other grandfather was in the Army. And so it's something I always wanted to do. And when I turned 20, I was about to turn 21. I was reading a bunch of books, and it was just like, I don't want to say that I didn't do it. I was working in a grocery store. I talked to like some Vietnam veterans and some other veterans, and they're just like, do it while you have the chance. And so I ended up going through with it, and which MOS decided to go through. My thought process was, man, if I'm going to be a soldier, then I'm going all the way. And so originally, like all infantrymen, like I wanted to go Ranger, I wanted to go SF, but I wasn't smart enough to get all the scores and all that stuff. And so start off, 11 Bravo, and because it was just like, man, I read about all these books, see like all these like heroes about people, sacrificing their lives, and it was just like, not to like, try to say like, I want to win the Medal of Honor or anything like that. but it's just like, man, I want to serve. I want to go out and do it. And I remember I was talking to one customer at the grocery store I was working at, and like he was just like, "Hey, I'm so proud of you for joining." And I asked him if he served, and he started crying, and he said, "No, I didn't serve." And I was just like, I didn't want that to be me. It was just like, nothing but respect for that man. It was just like, man, it's like, if I'm able to serve, I want to go and do it.
Thank you. I mean,
that was an inspiration.
That's something that I have on my Facebook page, my personal one, that I seriously am very proud of.
Yeah.
We almost didn't serve. We did it. Yeah. We put our name on the contract and we went and did it, Yep. So 11 Boo, man, did you do a one station training or did you split up somewhere?
Yeah, it was one station. You went over to Fort Benning, Georgia, and that was April 2014. And then I went over to Fort Lewis, Washington in August 2014.
Yeah, Lewis McCord. Welcome to the rain. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, good times, man. If it ain't raining, we ain't training.
Okay, that brings back so many memories. Especially when someone screams index and the rain stops and the sun comes out. And you're like, son of a...
Yep.
All right, brother. Now, I know you've talked about it openly, so I'm going to tread carefully on this.
Go ahead.
I know your whole time in the service, you made one huge boo-boo that cost you that dream. Do you care to talk about that? Or
yeah, let's go for it.
Okay.
You want to talk about the other boo-boo too? Or
sure, we can. But we're going to start with the whole alcohol one first. What? God, how can I put it? When you got bagged, what went through your head?
So to kind of backtrack a little bit, so I turned 21 like a week before I left for basic, and so leather. And so after I graduated basic, you got like 10 days of leave before reporting to the duty station. I started trying a bunch of different beers, and when I get to Lewis, originally I was what I call a patriotic weekend drinker. I'd have some like beers and have some like shots of whiskey in honor of the fallen, and those are some like great memories I had. But as you know from experience, it doesn't take long for military life to kick in, especially when you're stationed in a place where it rains 9 to 10 months out of the year. Yep. It begins to eat at you. And like you said, serving in a combat profession, you need something to medicate. You need something to, to help you, get through the day and all that. And so alcohol became a way of escape for me. Alcohol became a way to self-medicate. And like we'll talk about later, 2015, I started struggling with suicidal thoughts. And so alcohol became a way to numb the pain, numb all those suicidal thoughts. But as we know, alcohol is a depressant. And so it only makes it worse. Go figure. Who knew, right?
And that's one of the strange parts, not to cut you off, for people who don't know, when you're training and you're going hard all day long, when you get cut free from your duty, the first thing you usually do is grab a beer. And it's like, okay, I've got the next 48 hours off. Cool. Class 6, here I come.
Yeah.
So we were the fittest group of alcoholics ever. And that's the only way I could put the U.S. Army. Fittest groups of alcoholics.
Yep.
All right, man, keep rolling with that. Keep rolling.
And so, it became a way to like self-medicate. 2016, it started getting better. And then 2017, it was a bit of a roller coaster. We went overseas for a few training missions. We went over to Thailand, South Korea, and the Philippines. And then when I got back, I was going through a basic leaders course to be promoted to the rank of sergeant. I was halfway through the course. Everything was going good. And it was a Wednesday going into August 3rd, 2017. I met some guys there from the Air Force that were, or as you like to call them, the Chair Force.
Mm-hmm.
And so like originally whenever I'd go out to eat, I'd have like a couple of drinks and call it. And I was in DuPont, Washington over at Forelli's Pizzeria. And then there's McNamara's Irish Pub right across from it, if you're familiar with that area. But those were the two places I'd always drink. And so we'd buy each other drinks, have a good time. And by the time the restaurant closed at midnight, I had about a dozen drinks in my system. And I decided I was good enough to drive. This wasn't my first time drinking and driving. And it also was not the last time, like we can talk about later. And so I get on my truck. And I was actually going to drop off one of the guys at his hotel. Get in my truck. I put on Merle Haggard's song, Think I'll Just Stay Here and Drink. Started driving. Ran past the stop sign right when a cop shows up. The cop pulls me over. I get arrested for a DUI. I get kicked out of leadership school. I lost my promotion to sergeant. And because I broke the law while attending the leadership school, I got kicked out of the Army for it. So in the span of a few hours and $100 spent on alcohol, my career in the United States Army came to an end. Like that.
It's comical how, not your situation, but bear with me here. It's comical how it's the most abused thing in the United States military is alcohol. And it's like your command always wants to turn a blind eye until you force them to look at you.
Yeah,
And then when they look at you and go, oh, you fuckered up bad, they throw everything at you all at once.
And my company commander was that kind of guy who wanted to be like, hey, look what I did. I kicked this guy out. Every single person in my chain, because I was an S3 and like everyone loved me. My brigade command loved me. And so everyone like hated this guy because he was like, oh, no, it wouldn't be fair to the other guys. And I was like, he's not another guy. He made a genuine mistake. You know, officers get DUIs and then they get promoted for it. It's just like, you know, hey, you know, he's doing his time. He's punishing him. You know, take him out BLC, make him re-earn it. But he was just like, no, we got to chapter him.
Yeah, especially with officers. If you have that sacred West Point ring, it just always seems to make things go away. I don't know why.
Yep, it's true.
All right, so I know that puts you down a bit of a spiral, but how were you able to pull yourself back up? Because I've watched you go through a lot, and if anybody needs advice on anything, this is the guy you should go to because he's been through it all.
So as you know, the process of getting out of the Army takes a few months. You know, there's a bunch of paperwork and a bunch of, you know, like you got to do all the in processing, you got to do all the out processing. And so you never know how long it's going to be. So after I get out, November 30th was my last day. And so I go back home. I already had my old job lined up. And that's when a guy by the name of Jesus shows up. And he's just like, hey, man, I'm going to deliver you from this. And I'm like, no, you're not. And he's like, yes, I am. I'm like, no, you're not. And he's like, yes, I am. And I was like, make me. And he's like, okay. I was like, oh, hold up. And so that began like a few month long wrestling match where God said he was going to deliver me from alcohol. And I was just like, no, you're not. You're not taking this from me. And he was just like, all right. Oh, what's up, brother? Oh, I love that, man. And so
King of the dad jokes. King of the dad jokes.
Yep. And then so I started getting the call to go to this Christian university. And like they have it was funny. So during the admissions process, with it being a Christian school, I'm going through the application. It's like 8, 9. I think it was like 10 o'clock in the morning, somewhere around there. And I was already drinking a beer. I was drinking a pint of Guinness, to be specific. And I love it. Guinness was my addiction.
That's your choice. Yeah.
And so I'm going through this application and like I'm having the beer to my lips. And I get to the question, in the past 2 weeks, have you drank, smoked, or looked at porn? And I just sat there with the beer to my lips going, I'm not getting accepted. And so I go to exit out of the application and God like slaps my hand and he's just like, submit the application right now. And so that began the process of, you know, them walking me through it. I didn't think I was going to get accepted. There's no way this, because, you know, my school is like a spirit filled, tongue speaking, you know, all that kind of stuff. I was like, there's no way they're going to accept me. Go figure they accept me. And I'm just like, what? I was like, and God's like, hey, guess what you're giving up? And I'm like, I'm not giving it up. I'm not giving it up. So God goes on the offensive and like, it gets to the point where I can't stomach a half a beer because of the amount of conviction that I have. And I'd get so mad at God. I'd scream at him. I'd cuss him out. And he would say to me, what part of I'm going to deliver you do you not understand? And so he treated me like a soldier. He did not go easy on me. It was just like, you know, there's a story like Bible God, like punching someone in the hip.
Yeah.
He did that to me many, many times. And then May 11th, 2018, that was the day I finally gave in. And I grabbed all the beer and whiskey I had, poured it out. And here we are almost 6 years later.
See, and that's one thing I've learned on 5 decades on this planet. The harder I fight him is the harder he hits back. And if I just listen originally, stuff goes a lot easier, you know?
Crazy, right?
Yeah, because I will admit, there's been a lot of times where I just go, all right, God, what am I supposed to do? And then just shut up and listen.
Yeah. It's so easy to talk. It's so hard to listen.
Yeah, and it's amazing. And I've said this before. I know you've heard me say it on my channel. I honestly believe God put me in this relationship to see if I deserved Brianna, my youngest. Because I had to pass the test. Can I be a good dad to the 2? Then when I did, he went, all right, you can have a child now.
Yes.
And it's just weird. Oh, see, I knew it. Dad joke, dad joke, dad joke.
Yes.
Lady L. All right, my brother. So I know he does work in a lot of mysterious ways. And that's the point. Because I remember you signing up for a whole bunch of stuff. And I think that's where you started to change, because I remember your struggles with stuff, and it's been great to watch you. God, this is going to sound so fucked up. I'm sorry. It's been great to watch you go through it because you've seen the radical change that can happen when you apply yourself. And that's another reason I really wanted you on, because like I said, your story, it's so inspirational. It's not even funny. And for those of you who are out there just trolling around going, he's just kissing his ass. No, I've told him this before. And I've said it a lot of times before.
3.5 years.
Zach, you've always been there for me, and I've always been there for you whenever anything's going wrong. I remember calling you going, hey, I need some prayer right now. And you just instantly went, boom, here we go.
Yep. I remember. I was in my backyard when that happened.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I keep telling you, you're going places. And I'm excited for these next chapters in your life because you can just see this massive progression, everything from how you're sitting, how you're talking, how you're communicating, how you're not overworking yourself. I remember when you were doing some Instagram stuff and YouTube lives, and you're like, okay, I need a moment. I need a moment. It's like, okay, I'm getting it. But watching this progress, because I know the good Lord's moving through you, you know?
Yep.
Agree, 100%.
Chris is awesome. Yep.
All right, brother. So you go to school. Let's walk through that, because that had to be something a little different for you to be around. I grew up in a Roman Catholic church with an Irish Catholic mom, so I get the speaking in tongues and everything. I get it. But it had to be a little freaky in the beginning until you fully grasp that concept.
Yeah, it's funny because the summer before I went to school, like I really didn't have much temptations or anything like that. As soon as I move and I start going to school, for lack of a better term, all hell breaks loose. I was under constant daily bombardment. I was under constant attack. I didn't know anybody. So, I'm isolated. Like I feel different than everybody. These are just some, kids just going to school. And then here I am, military experience and all that stuff. And so like, thankfully when my, what's up, yours? What's it called? A lot of the faculty were like, there's a lot of veterans or like veteran support. And like the president of my school is one of my biggest supporters. And like, ever since I went there, like I told him my story and like, I thought he was going to be like, man, what are you doing here? You're not good enough. And like, he literally starts crying, throws his arms around me and starts praying the blood of Jesus over me. And so like, I had many faculty that, like I said, that were veterans. And so like, all they would have to do is just stare me in the eye, like without saying a word. And we'd have a full length conversation. So you know what that's like?
Yeah.
And, like, literally like one of them, he was in the Navy. He was the commander and he was the head of the history department. He would just stare at me and like, we'd just make eye contact and he'd be like, we're going to talk. But, I have guys like that, help me walk me through it. And I think it was, it was the following year, like in 2019, like things started going hard for me. I started having a lot of anxiety attacks and started freaking out. And that was the year that I discovered the bearded community. I remember towards the end of the year, you were one of the first channels that I found and started hanging out and talking to you. And then in January 2020, I remember you messaged me, like I'd been quiet, haven't really been talking on social media or videos and that. And you reached out to me and was like, hey man, I feel the need to reach out to you and make sure you're all right. And then that's when we started talking and, it went from there. And then in 2020, we all know like so many stuff happens and I started going through, a bunch of issues and came very close to relapsing multiple times. And, thankfully, especially in the bearded community, I've had so many people help me to stay sober and not do anything stupid. So definitely, here I am today, because, conversations like that.
Well, and it's also, I want to bring you back for just a moment. I think that school was perfect for you because remember, the original disciples, they weren't all good, God-fearing people right off the bat. They came from all walks of life.
Fishermen, tax collectors.
Yeah. So it's weird when the good Lord puts calling on you. You're going to answer one way or another.
Yeah.
And
do it before he hits you.
Pretty much. Because if you go the easy way, your life's going to be a lot better as opposed to going, all right, I'm going to go all the way over here for a while, but now I have to come all the way back around.
Yeah. One thing I like to tell people is that my DUI was like the Jonah in the well moment. I'd been running from God and he was just like, all right, I got to get your attention somehow. And so like, I told you all before, I'm pursuing full-time ministry. Well, that's something I've been running from my entire life. And so like, that was obviously, God didn't cause me to get a DUI. That was my own stupidity, but he got me back to where I needed to be.
Yeah.
So here we are.
And I love how you put like you're under constant bombardment every day, because the one thing I've learned heavily, and it's like every time you're doing what you're supposed to, you always come under attack because somebody wants to test you and someone wants to break you and someone wants to hit through things. And there's been moments with you when I've talked to you where you've been an eye opener to me. Like I clued in earlier about you, calling me on the carpet. And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even think at that point, But it's I wasn't mad. I even told you in a message. I'm like, I'm so grateful for you for doing that.
Yeah. You're like, it hurt, but thank you.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to hurt when you screw up, you know?
That's
And that's how you learn things. All right, what was this? The people have brought me. Nice. All right, man. So as you're moving on from that school and doing stuff, let's go into there. What bring us up?
So I ended up I served and worked at a church for a little bit for a few months and then ended up moving back home. I'd pretty much given up on school at that point. You know, I failed a bunch of classes because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. And then came back and I was just like, man, I'm going to give this everything I got. And so it did thankfully completely turn it around. I think, you know, in all those classes, I only got like 2 Bs and I was so angry about them, you know, got A's in the rest of them. And so completely turned it around, graduated. And originally I was going to pursue being a historian, you know, working with museums and battlefields, historic sites, all that.
Yeah.
And earlier in 2023, God started reminding me that I'm called to be a pastor and like being in full-time ministry and all that. And so I started having all those, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, convictions, I guess. And then, and then I remember I was in 2 classes. One was called hermeneutics, which is like the study of the Bible. Okay. And then there was another one. It was called the classical world. So about like Rome and Greece and all that. Right. And like I started seeing things that, you know, started drawing me, you know, my passion for history, you know, biblical history, biblical context and all that, you know, things that happened back in the ancient times and, you know, still happening today and all that. And so God used all that to get me back to the call to being in the ministry. And so I ended up surrendering to it, you know, changed my master's, you know, starting that next week. And so last semester I led a Bible study in my church and then doing like more involved and stuff like that. I've been presented with some opportunities to do some ministry. And so, and I think my pastor is going to have me preach in my church sometime this year.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
So, and then there's I got approached to lead a veterans Bible study in the town that I work in. And so, yeah, a lot of opportunities are coming up.
See, and that's the other thing. Okay. Oh, Lord. Vets will destroy vets quicker than anybody else because we know the struggles. Yeah. Now, of course, you're always going to get those idiots, just like, you know, in the beard community. Oh, man, I don't like the fact that his video did better than mine, so I have to attack him. You're going to get those vets who are like, oh, you're being more successful than me. I can't have that. But they will attack you and build you up. You know, it's like, quit screwing around. Let's get to it, you know. Yep. And that's one of the things I love about the veteran community is we take care of our own. Because we're so used to being screwed over by certain things, we figure out how to get it done. And when one person in your unit is suffering, you know it's rally the troops, let's get going.
Yep. Yeah, we've had people that, like, and the people that I've served with, you know, ended up taking their own lives. And it's just like, you sit there and just like, what could I have done differently? Just like, how did it happen? Like about a year ago, we had a NCO, he hit his 20-year mark. You know, he's getting ready to retire and he goes and blows his brains out. And it's just like, what could we have done? And so whatever we can do to help people, man, we got to do it.
See, and that's one of the things I like about having this live stream and having people like you come on, because I preach it all the time. Just call people at random and talk to them, see how they are, and have the courage to listen. Because you never know when you're on that phone, unless you're doing a video call, what that person's going through at that point. You know, do they have a pistol to their head? Are they thinking about slicing an arm open? And you just turn them around by going, hey, dude, what the fuck's up?
You never know how God can be putting something in your head, being like, hey, you need to reach out to this person right now.
Yeah, and it was seriously weird. Like when I called you and got a hold of you, I'm like, why am I thinking about him so much? What the hell? What's going on?
You never know. And
then it's all right, I got to call you. But let's talk about your other oopsie, because it leads into some other stuff. I'm going to take a drink, bro, and then whenever you're ready, go ahead and start talking about that one.
You're talking about the suicidal thoughts, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So that really started happening in 2015 that I remember. Like it would happen during a training event. And then it was one of those progressions. There's 2 people that noticed it. One was pretty much my battle buddy, still one of my best friends to this day. His name's Andrew Carlisle. And then the other was my platoon sergeant at the time. And they both recognized what was going on. They both like cornered me. Like you would actually know this place, Yakima, Washington.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we were over there and like he pulled me to the side one day and he's like, you were not leaving the spot until you tell me what's going on. And so like, you know, the rest of few months, you know, he'd have his eye on me. You know, I ended up getting sent to the battalion headquarters because, you know, everyone was worried I was going to do something. So that helped me to, get back on track, which, like I told you, 2016 was like a rebounding year for me and all that. And then 2017, the stuff with the DUI, all that stuff, originally when I got it, they were going to put me on like a full-fledged suicide watch where like they were going to watch me 24/7 and all that.
Yeah.
But thanks be to God, my battalion chaplain swooped in and he was just like, you were going to do more harm than good doing this. And he's like, you're going to cause him to suffer more by doing that. He's like, he was doing an event that weekend and he was just like, yeah, he's like, he's going to work with me. He's going to be my guy. He's like, I'll take him to church. I'll go get him food and all that stuff. And he's like, he's mine. Don't touch him. And they're just like, okay.
Yeah. It sounds funny. No one messes with chaplains. Nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this is their area of expertise,
Yeah.
And like, I was very close to my chaplain, so he knew me. And so like, we had that good relationship already. So thankfully that happened. So, but then, I'm trying to think. Yeah, it didn't happen much again until 2020. Well, no, let me take a bit step back. So 2019 was probably the worst year of my life. That in 2015. And 2019, like I started, this is kind of weird. When I got into the bearded community, especially, and this went into 2020, like people from my school stopped talking to me. Like I had like 4 dozen people from my school delete me from Instagram because I was talking about beard products. And so like I started having all this depression and anxiety, like losing friends and all this kind of stuff. And so 2020, I started having a bunch of like suicidal thoughts, and it was through the bearded community actually got the help that I needed that year. Excuse me. But yeah, so many guys like yourself, Dancy, Emo, James, Bearded Metal Chef, Tevin, Devin, probably forgetting some other guys, but like so many other guys were like, reach out to me. Michael from Last Looks Grooming. They reach out to me on a daily basis, and be like, hey man, what's going on? They tell me, give me an update. What are you doing? All this kind of stuff. So, it kept me around. Like we talked about earlier, you never know how a conversation can save somebody's life. And then going into 2021, it got better. I mean, 2021 I had a bunch of anxiety attacks, but not really much plans to do anything. But thankfully haven't had any serious legitimate thought in probably a couple of years or so, give or take.
That's good. I mean, that is good. At least, how can I put this? You're cognizant of it. You're in a much better place now to deal with it and process it, as opposed to giving in to the evil whispers. And that's about the only way I can put it.
Yep.
I call them like the spiders a lot more too, because once they start to creep in, it gets bad.
Quickly.
Yeah, and it's just so cool to see everything you're doing, because I know what you've been through, and it's great that to see it coming out on the other side. It's like you've been tested, you've been hitting that forge, you've been, God has totally rebuilt you.
Refined fire.
Phenomenal.
Yep. You think when they go and make like swords and all that, they got to go through the fire, right? They got to be pounded. There's the old saying in the scriptures, iron sharpens iron, and it's like that for a reason. You got to go through the process. There's actually a verse that came to my mind. It's in Hebrews. It says, no discipline seems enjoyable at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness to those who've been trained by it. It's like, it has a purpose.
Carlos for me. Sorry, Andrew.
You're good.
Oh, man. So, okay. I know we've been laying some heavy stuff on you. How you feeling? You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Just got to make sure, because I told you we're going to get into some fun things. And in the last half hour, we're trying to kind of try to lighten it up a little bit. Which is weird because we're going to talk about mental health, which is what we've been doing already, but we're going to do it kind of, funner, different way. I know we're coming out of the worst time of the year for a whole bunch of people. What are some of the things you do when you feel yourself kind of slipping a little bit to kind of pick yourself up?
So aside from, the basics, like prayer, scripture, all that stuff, reaching out to people is the biggest one for me. I struggle with isolation. I always told people at my school that I'm a king of isolating myself and, distancing, just doing my own thing. And that's when you're more likely to be attacked. If you see someone get away from the pack and they're by themselves, they're going to be like, oh, that's easy pickings. Like, go get them. And that's exactly what happens, right? And so for me, I have to talk to people like my pastor. He was my youth pastor back in high school. He's been my mentor ever since. And like, he's always been that guy. He will not hesitate to pull punches with me. He'll tell me what I need to hear, when I need to hear it. And so like, he's one of the main guys that I'll go to, and then just have conversations with other people, be involved, find something I like to do it, because it's very easy just to like sit there and just scroll through social media and then just be dragged down.
Yeah. Oh God.
So gotta, like, when you're going down, you need to find a way to get yourself up, whatever that may be.
See, oh, look at that. And I thought INS had you. Hi, how you doing, brother?
What it be?
See, for me, recently I've had to totally flip things around, like get more involved with my kids. Because normally I joke around, I'm like, especially today. Today is like the greatest day of the year. The hostage situation is done. Winter break is over. They were out of the house for 8 hours. Oh, yeah. But like you heard the phone call, my TV's acting up. So I'm like, with everything good, something bad happens, you know?
Yeah, I feel like.
But it's getting involved with them, playing more video games, doing more painting, getting more better off with that, with doing the miniatures for the tabletop wargaming stuff I'm doing.
Nice.
There's just things like, and especially for you, your little history tour you just took.
I love history.
Yeah, we can't tell. Most of those books on the shelf are about history, okay? That's all I'm saying. Yeah, about 98%, and the other 2% is Lord of the Rings. So
Lord of the Rings is all up here, and then this is like mostly like history, a bunch of Christian books and all that. Like over here, also got like Bible commentaries, dictionaries, all that kind of stuff.
So, have you read Tolkien's unreleased manuscripts that his son Christopher released?
I got it. I haven't read it yet.
When you do that, it's really weird to see the original concept and the character progressions.
Yeah.
Like Aragorn Strider was originally going to be a hobbit that wore clogs.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff.
A hobbit wearing shoes. I'm like, come on, really? Really?
Yeah, one of my things, he was like best friends with C.S. Lewis, and they always bounced each other. One of the cool story I love about, so they had a lot of similarities growing up. They both lost their mothers, and when World War I, they both made promises to like their battle buddies basically, and saying, hey, if something happens to one of us, we're going to take care of each other's families. Both of them had their battle buddy died, and they fulfilled their honor and took care of their families.
And what's really weird is as you're reading Lord of the Rings, you can see a lot of what Tolkien went through and how he transcribed it onto what we currently have as a legendary story right now.
Yeah, the Dead Martians talk about, the Battle of the Somme, some of the experiences he's seen there with like the dead just laying there.
And just everything from, oh God, Sauron, the big firing and everything, the flamethrowers and the tanks that came out in World War I that were hardly ever there before. It's just neat to see all that stuff progress and how he brought it out and how it's really, I don't want to say gained in popularity, but because of Peter Jackson, who did it right, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
Just killed it.
Yeah.
Which also made me giggle when I did the first three. I'm not doing the prequels. And then I can't remember the director's name was screwing it up. And they came to Peter Jackson and he was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
I can't remember that director. Yeah, I know, right? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. It's like the worst kept secret. Here's the other worst kept. Yeah, here's the other worst kept secret. Mel, Ken Sconson, Beard and Fitness, his wife, she likes Christmas. Nobody knew. Nobody knew.
Cookies.
Yeah, right? Oh, my brother. So what's next for Andrew? And that's the weird question is what's next for you?
So next week, I'm supposed to be starting my master's. So I'll be doing that. Still going to be working. I have 1 semester left on the GI Bill. So thank God, hallelujah. And after that, I got to experience what it's like to pay for school after that. So that should be fun. Ooh, but my school has since it's like a Christian university and a Bible degree, they had to have a discount for that. So that's going to be a little bit nice. But yeah, so doing my master's, still going to be working while I'm doing that. Getting involved in some more like ministry opportunities. Trying to read all the books I got. So speaking of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, the Silmarillion. Yeah.
Right there.
I'm curious when you're going to get into missionary work because I can just see you seriously being in the third world somewhere setting something up and just being happy as heck.
I had someone ask me about it. My sister's a missionary in Germany. And so like I'm friends with a lot of missionaries and all that stuff. And so that's something that actually came up. But we'll see.
It's just another field training exercise with better food.
Hopefully.
No more vomit omelets, right?
Yeah, well, you never know. I remember being in Thailand. I mean, the street food, I love like the pad thai, all that stuff. And then like they bring out the bugs. I'm just like, I'll pass.
Okay. Scorpions are good. Crickets are great.
I've heard crickets and grasshoppers. I heard people like that.
Especially with honey. When you grill them up, they're awesome.
People are going to be like, why are we talking about eating bugs?
Yeah, but I as far as I know, like from Jersey Joe, I don't recommend tarantulas. So,
yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, that was a painful night. That's all I'm going to say.
Wait, y'all did that on a live stream, right?
Yep.
That's something like that. Yeah.
That's when I made a deal with Jimmy over at Ready Man. If GI sold 25 items, we would do a big, like, let's eat something because we did something unreal, so let's do something stupid. And I remember getting that message from Jimmy. He goes, I hope you enjoy that one chip, big boy. I'm like, oh, you hit 25. Ah.
Yeah, speaking of Jimmy, I'm wearing Ruddy Man today.
Which one? Let me guess. It's got a rhino on it.
I didn't wear that one. I wore a Mystic Moose, which is Lord of the Rings inspired. So I'm trying to go through and like use ones I haven't used in a while. And so
exactly, Chris. They're not. They're really not. No. That was for like the GI release party. Yeah. And I made that dumb thing going, well, okay, if you sell 25. But on the plus side, we were able to make a sizable contribution to StopSoldierSuicide.org because of the sales of GI.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's one of those looking for a way to give back, looking for a way to keep carrying forward, you know.
That's awesome.
Bobby, what's going on, man?
So, man?
The ultimate recess monitor right there. You know what he does for a job, right?
No.
He works in a prison, and basically he controls recess.
Oh, nice.
So, like, if the inmates are, acting up, he takes away the basketballs.
No, that's awesome.
That's why I make a joke. He's the ultimate recess monitor because who you can screw with, you know?
Us.
Do you really want another decade on your time for getting pissed off? No. Alrighty, so seeing how you brought up Jimmy, I know you dipped back into a second round of Beast Yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Give your experience with that because I know mine and how great it went, but I want to know more about yours.
So, Jimmy, I love that man. He's one of my favorite human beings on the planet. And so Ready Man, like I remember when he first announced that he was going to do it, I was one of the first people to sign up for it. And I remember this may be a shocker to you, but in addition to Lord of the Rings, leather, and all the other stuff, I love rhinos. You know,
no way.
He's got a rhino tattooed on me. But
hold on real quick. Bro, hold on real quick. Dagan, I'm still pissed at you. You sandbagged me. All right, go ahead, bro.
But I love rhinos, and so he reserved rhinos for me. And that first one, I chose the Javan rhino because it's the closest rhino to extinction. So kind of like raised them like a, because people may just think of like white rhinos or something, but there's like 5 different species of surviving rhinos right now. So I chose the ones closest to extinction. And that was an awesome experience. I was like, hey, I want to do something leather, tropical, kind of fit with the climate and all that kind of stuff. And how's it going, man? And so that one went really well. He was very communicative, trying all the different stuff. The second go around, he was just doing an Instagram live, and we were talking. I was like, hey, I kind of have an idea for another one. He's like, yeah, man, hit me up. So we started DMing. And a few months prior to that, I went on vacation through Texas. I went to a place I've never been before called Fredericksburg, Texas. And that's where the National Museum of the Pacific War is. Admiral Nimitz was from there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so that was pretty awesome stuff. There's a bunch of like German history over there. It was the first time like Germans and like Comanches made peace together. And so there's a big, massive thing over there about that.
Nice.
Enchanted Rock is down there. And so like the second one was called Trailblazer. And so it kind of like I wanted to pay homage to Fredericksburg. And so it has a rhino on it. There's a winery there called the Rhinery. And it's a winery that has a rhino on the grounds. His name is Blake.
Oh, God.
And so, it was an awesome experience. And so,
right.
And also Fredericksburg is famous for peaches. And so, like, peaches in it, peach leather, some like grassy to try to represent the how do you say it, the nature and, all that kind of stuff. And there's wine in it, too, to pay homage to all the wineries. And so it turned out very well. And he said, like, it may end up being a mainline scent because of, like, how much he loves it. So we'll see.
Did you get hit with a taser to back you off the rhino?
No, everywhere I go, whether it's stuff like that, history sites, like even like I went to Oklahoma, I went to a Civil War battleground, and they're just like, do not dig, do not use metal detectors, nothing like that. And I'm just like, why are y'all looking at me? It's like every time I go to the Alamo, there's like Texas Rangers follow me around. They're like, we know who you are. So every time.
Yeah, I loved making GI with Jimmy.
It's a fun process.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I love the fact I did it as he was getting ready to close everything down. And I get this message out of the blue going, I knew if anybody was going to be the last one, it would be you. I'm like, sorry, Jimmy.
Good old Jimmy. Yeah, he's doing awesome things.
Oh, yeah.
I have told Chris this before, that is a myth. Come on, Perez.
He's just got to bring it up. I see how the king of the dad jokes is.
He's doing it on purpose.
It's okay. See, like I told you, we got to lighten it up a little bit because we got a little heavy in the beginning. I knew you unburdening all that. We just got to keep you moving, you know.
Do I need to pull out the Texas history books?
Nah, that's okay. I don't need to see the first Taco Bell. I'm fine. Okay.
Taco Bueno.
Shade, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Good old tacos.
Yeah, I had some today.
I actually got some tacos from Jack in the Box.
I
Little greasy heart attacks.
Thank you.
I was needing to do something quick, and I was just like, I need to eat something, and I ate like the burger on the way here, then I ate some fries, and I got some of those left.
I like the fact that, you know, when I was eating them, they're like $2 for $1. Yeah, perfect way to end your night. Okay. But man, I'm old. I'll be sleeping in the bathroom after like 5 or 6 of those things, you know? No, thank you.
Good times. Good times.
All right. Now, as we're getting ready to close this out, I want you to think about this one before you answer it. What advice would you give to a vet who you know is struggling that you want to try to help, just help them? You know, what advice would you give them?
So one of the things that, you know, we always have to go through the safety briefs, right?
Oh, God.
You know, we always have to go through all the safety briefs. You know, we hear it all the times, you know, hear it all the time. You know, it gets to the point, you know, where it falls on deaf ears. You know, when I was like going through all my stuff, people were telling me like, you know, suicide's the most selfish thing you can do and all that stuff. While there may be truth to it, you know, it doesn't help deliver somebody from all that stuff.
True.
And so for me, like I told you earlier, one of the things I had to do is like I had to break out of isolation and being a loner, and I had to reach out to other people. And so that's just one thing, like as painful and as like uncomfortable as it could be, it's one of those things where you have to reach out to other people. You know, you could start, you know, how do you say, like I said, where, you know, just start about a random conversation, right? You know, hey, what beer products you wearing? Hey, what have you been doing this? And then like lead up into it, be like, you know, hey, when you get some time, I'd like to talk to you about something. A lot of times if you hear somebody say that, there's something probably going on. And, you know, whether it's something, you know, just something personal or something serious like suicidal thoughts or whatever it is. And so being able to reach out to other people, it's one of the strongest things you could do. You know, it's not easy, you know, when you're falling off a cliff, you know, try to pick yourself up and climb yourself up to safety. You know, it takes a lot of skill, and you don't never know what's going to happen, but you got to do it one step at a time.
Very true. I mean, I'm privileged. You were on that live feed when I had basically my old command on a live stream. I get to talk to 2 of those guys a lot.
Nice.
And it's really cool to be able to reach out and go, all right, give me a no shitter.
Yep.
And it's fun that after all these years, it still happens. And then it's like, you know, it just feels like we're back in the same unit again. And, you know, you get going down a better path and you end up feeling better. And yes, I agree. As much as I do want alone time at certain points, like today, after having my kids home for 2 straight weeks, crawling up my butt 80 ways from Sunday, it's like, wow, it's too quiet. What the heck?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, there's a healthy balance between, you know, having like alone time and then isolating. Yeah.
Sorry, Shade. I'm sorry, my brother.
Absolutely. But, you know, like even Jesus, you know, he'd get away from the crowds and, you know, he'd be alone with God because he needed that time. And so it's one thing, you know, to like have that time, you know, to, you know, build yourself up and all that. But then there's that other time where it's just like, you got to surround yourself with other people. You know, so many different verses I could think of that to go along with this, you know. But
well, if
you got to get out of it.
If you think about it, humans are like a pack mentality. As much as
not meant to be alone, that's one I was thinking of.
Yeah, as much as you want that alone time at certain points, you need that group around you to sit and support you and help lift you up and give you that energy. Because you can tell, like, when you go to church, you get a different feeling in your life. You know, that's if the pastor's good, that's if the sermon's good, the message is good. You know, you can tell the crowd is feeling it and, you know, the presence is there. But sometimes you can feel it just with like 2 or more people as well. It's that you need that bonding time and you need that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, weren't you here already, Steven? I see how you are. I see how you are, Chris Farley. I see how you are.
He must have saw me and ran away. He thought it was ugly.
Oh, man. All right. So this is the point where we're usually going to do the little wrap up.
I thought we were going to keep going.
All right. Where do you want to go?
We could go to the movies. We could go get some food.
Well, I got a new TV showing up. You want to come over and help set it up?
Yeah, I could do that. Do you ever go to Trapper Sushi?
No, I'm not a big sushi fan.
Yeah, I remember that was one place that we would, some friends always brought us over. Little
Yeah, I'm not a huge sushi fan. I don't know how my better half can eat that crap.
I only did like the fried options.
Yeah, I'm just no.
I never did raw sushi. I couldn't get into the texture of it. Even like cooked fish, I can't. I gotta have something like sauce and stuff binding it together.
Well, that's the Texan in you, okay? Home of barbecue. I mean, come on. It's like I was watching Fox's, I was watching Fox's remake of Lethal Weapon. And, you know, Murtaugh's looking at Riggs and going, oh, my ribs are so awesome. My barbecue, I do this, I do this, I do it. He's like, I'm from Texas. Stop playing. I'm like,
it's like Mexican food. Anything north of the border is garbage.
Look, I've had cooked octopus. I can stand that. Raw? Nope. No, thank you. If I'm going to walk over to the fish tank and start to eat, nope. God bless those people who can do it. It's just not me.
Yeah. I can't do it.
Now, I ask this of everybody, my brother. What do you have coming up that you might want to let people know about?
I had gone back and forth between trying to do some stuff like making some videos again on like some of my favorite products and all that kind of stuff. Roll steak and jalapeno.
No stew.
Yeah, I've seen some of the have like different kinds of some with like bacon on top and all that. It'd be pretty good. But yeah, I thought about doing that. I originally was gonna try to do that last weekend, but I went on vacation, so got away. Oh, Tyson, what's up, man? Appreciate it.
Yeah, I do tend to go live from time to time. I'm kicking 2024 off with an amazing guest tonight, brother.
Who?
I don't know. I'll find him later.
Oh, cool. Is it my dog?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Crash back there, just having fun, chilling.
Yeah, she's so lazy.
See, that's kind of like the life. Lay around, someone scratches your belly, you get let out, come back in, you get food.
So what's funny is like she's a great Pyrenees mix. So like her breed is like meant to be outside, you know, with animals, and like a lot of times she'll love to be outside and all that. But you know, see, she's like another dog. She sees a squirrel, she sees a car, something, she'll be barking her lungs off, and like everyone in like a 5-mile radius is going to be able to hear it.
Nice.
But and if she can get out the front door, oh, she's going to be whoo. That's always
nice.
But trying to get her back.
So you said you're thinking of doing videos again, huh?
I thought about doing some for like my favorite, like some of my favorite scents of the year. I thought about doing some for like favorite companies, doing like standalone videos for like single products. What I've been trying to do is cut back on products so that way I can like use the stuff that I buy, because I'm trying to do like, especially with having to pay for my master's now, like I want to be a better steward of my finances and actually use the stuff that I'm buying. Yeah, I've been before where, you know, like I've had entire bookcases full of products and I never used them. They ended up getting trashed. And so I'm trying to be like, for me, like it's also a way to like to honor other companies is like, you know, hey, if I'm going to buy your products, I'm going to use your products. And so like I may be like ordering less and all that, but I'm trying to be better at actually using them. Because like when I do my favorite scents video, when you look at the bottle, I want you to be able to tell that I used the product. So like the product that's like the #1 favorite scent of the year, it has like this much left in it. And so like that's how you know it's my favorite scent of the year, because you know I put it to work.
Sorry, I thought I heard footsteps. See, that's what always gets me, and it's a weird little quirk of mine. People are like, dude, this thing's so awesome. I use it all the time. Then why does it look like it's all the way up to the top?
Yep. I've been there.
You know, at least be honest like I am in certain videos and go, yeah, this is like my 5th bottle.
Yeah. That's what I want to do is like I want to be able to, that's my way of like, you know, supporting and honoring all the companies that I love, is just like, you know, I want to keep on using the products, keep on buying the products, because, you know, then I'm able to support the company more because I'm actually buying the stuff.
Yeah. Like the ones I have the most of is GI from Running Man. I stock up on that crap because, well, it's seasonal, so I'm good, you know? Not that I'm biased or anything, but, you know, just saying. Just saying. But we are at that point, and I'm going to kind of close it out like this. Guys, I throw this out a lot in every single live that I do. All right? You have the power to change your little corner of the planet. You can't change the entire world. You can change your little corner. My guest tonight is a massive example of that. Like I said in the opening, failure, redemption. He's covered them both, and he's going places. Take time to realize what's going on with you, your life, and if you can look in that mirror and you're not happy, make the changes. There's a bunch of people. Thank you. How broke did I just go?
You got a bill?
No. I'm like, how broke did I just go? I'm like, okay, I'm good. There's a lot of people who will be there for you. This man on the screen has been there for me when I hit a very low point. And he didn't even think about it. He was there. He went, I got you. You can be that change. You can be that person who could possibly prevent someone from doing something really dumb. But have the realization to look at yourself and know if you need to make that change. Turn that over to you, Andrew. Anything you want to follow that up on?
Yeah, and if anyone has any questions about recovery or anything that we've discussed in my story, anything, just feel free to comment down below before we hang up. But yeah, just like you said, it's just like there's something strong about like when you recognize it and to like yeah, there's a problem and I'm going to do something about it. It's very easy. Like before I quit drinking, I didn't want to give it up. It was like I told you earlier, it's like my form of self-medication. Yep. It's just I needed it in order to be able to function. I needed it to get through the day and deal with people and all that stuff. See you later, Chris. Love you, brother. Stay out of trouble. That's my job, or Chris's job. But yeah, there's something powerful about being able to like, hey, there's something wrong and I'm going to do something about it. I'm struggling in this area. I'm going to go talk to someone. I'm doing this. I'm going to go fix this. This is a time where people want to get back in the gym, right? Hey, I'm not happy with something that's been going on with my body. I'm going to go do something about it. It's just like there's just something powerful about making that decision. Be like, hey, I'm not just going to stay captive. I'm not just going to stay slave to this. It's like I'm going to do something about it. Like we're in a, we came from a profession where it's kill or be killed, right?
Right.
And like not only that, but we're in a combat. We do something stupid. It's not just going to affect us. It's going to affect the man to our left and to our right. I remember when I was in basic, our drill sergeant, we're in red phase. We hear about this, thing called white phase and blue phase, and it's going to go from group punishments to individual punishments, and that never came from us. It was always group punishments. And like one of our drill sergeants randomly said is that if something happens in a battle, someone does something stupid, it's not one of you that's going to face the consequences. It's all of you, and more than likely, it's other people that are going to die, and the person that made the mistake is the one that's going to live. And just like so, this is why we're doing it now, because we're trying to program you to get that out of your head. Where if one of you mess up, you all mess up. If one of you does something good, you all do something good. This is a team aspect for a reason. Yep. So like, we got to break that individualism, that isolation, and just surround ourselves with others.
Well said, my brother. Well said. I do have videos coming out tomorrow on both channels. Like I said, I'm trying to get back to a full-time schedule again. I took some much-needed time off to just relax in December and go, where do I want to progress with this? Tomorrow's video on this channel will be a little bit later on in the day because I got to film it in the morning. It's one of the very last Gordon Ramsay meals that I've never been able to get. I got it. It's coming tomorrow. And over on Across the Tabletop, for any of you guys watching over there, I believe it's a miniature follow-up video, which I really love to do so you can see the fully painted stuff that I showed you primed. But still, with those wonderful things being said, Andrew, once again, my brother, thank you so much for being an inspiration to a whole bunch of people, and especially in my life. Thank you for being one of those people who can call me up short. I'm going to listen. It's not that I'm going to hear you talk and I'm going to be like, man, fuck him. He doesn't know shit. You're powerful when you talk and you're direct, straightforward. This is what I got to say. I hope you hear it. I really can't wait to see what comes next for you. Because like I've told you repeatedly in messages, I see great things in your future. And it's going to be amazing to sit and go, yeah, that's the same guy that could barely form a sentence 5 years ago. Not picking on you, but you know what I'm talking about.
Stop making fun of me.
Hey, man. Hey. All right, guys. We usually wrap it up just like this. So here we go. I want to thank everybody for watching this. Seriously, thank you for giving me part of your time. I know it's your most precious commodity. And thank you for sharing it with us tonight. I hope you're having a great day, a safe day, and I look forward to seeing all of you in the very next video. Don't go away. You know how we do this.
Peace out, everybody.